All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Monday, July 24th. Fuck it, it is a raw feed. We are doing it live. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. Clayton, happy Barbenheimer opening weekend. It happened. It's here. It's real, and it is more spectacular than we ever could have imagined.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing weekend. So before we get into the plow for this historic Barbenheimer opening weekend, just want to remind all of our wannabe boys, wannabe girls, wannabe people,
People.
give us that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You guys have been so great about dropping the 5-star reviews, and it's helped a lot getting more listeners to this very, very important podcast, that this must listen podcast that's helping
Mhm.
America. So 5-star reviews, Apple Podcasts. If you haven't done it already, do it right now. But Clayton, I think it is time for a Barbenheimer plow for the weekend of Friday, July 21st, 2023.
Oh, yes. Number one, Barbie with $155 million in its first weekend, followed by number two, Oppenheimer made $80.5 million in its opening frame. Number three, Sound of Freedom made $20.1 million, down 26 theaters. It added 20 theaters. Total gross, 124.7 in its third weekend. Number four, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 made $19.5 million, down 64%. It lost only 6 theaters. It is at $118.7 million in its second frame. And number five, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny made $6.7 million, down 45%. Lost 980 theaters. It's at $159 million in its fourth frame. Pat, that is the top five.
All right. So we are going to just state this up top. Today is Barbenheimer and Barbenheimer only. We're only
Yep.
talking Barbie and Oppenheimer. We'll get to what happened down the list, possibly in our weekend preview episode. We'll touch on some of the other big stories. But Clay, this was a historic weekend. It is
Yes.
the one of the biggest box office weekends of all time. Not
Mm-hmm.
just of the year, although Barbie was the biggest domestic opening weekend of the year. It beat the Super Mario Brothers. This is one of the biggest weekends ever. It's up there with the Endgame weekend, the Infinity War weekend. I think it's what, fourth all time in weekends. This is the Barbie Oppenheimer combo is something that box office analysts are going to be talking about for the rest of our lives. We
Mm-hmm.
lived through it. So
Yes.
we're going to talk a lot about this, though I do want to set up that later in this episode, we are going to divvy up the millions. So combined, Barbie and Oppenheimer made 235 million domestic. We are going to divvy that up amongst the parties that deserve credit for it. So if you are a new listener, which there's a lot of you, this will be your first time of a BO Boys exclusive segment divvying up the millions. But right off the bat, Clayton, what were you feeling this weekend? You were in New York. I was in California. Boots on the ground in San Diego Comic Con. But here in New York, what was it like here? What was Barbenheimer like in New York? How did you live through this?
I mean, it's very rare nowadays where movie going is the center of everyone's universe.
Yes.
But this weekend, everybody was talking about Barbenheimer.
Hmm.
Everyone I talked to, what are you doing this weekend? I would ask. Any big plans? Going to see Barbie, or going to see Oppenheimer, or I'm going to see both.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it really is, that was the talk on the streets. There was a sense of elation. There was a little bit of disappointment for some people because
Okay.
of the sold out nature of all these shows. I mean, I think people expected to be able to just walk into a movie theater and get a ticket like they normally do,
Hmm.
and that wasn't the case. Sold out around the city. I mean, I walked by the Williamsburg Nighthawk. Now, listen, it's a small theater, but
Mom and pop shop.
mom and pop shop, Barbie sold out on the marquee.
Wow. It
Oppenheimer sold out on the marquee. And that's
wow.
and that's not just there. That's everywhere. Now, I guess Greta Gerwig, showed up at the Alamo Draft House for a showing this weekend. And I'll tell you
Yes.
what, I mean, I got to see her live talking about Little Women when that came out. So I wasn't as upset that I missed her. But I mean, if I was sitting in that theater and Greta Gerwig shows up, and I would have freaked out. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
what a
fainting. I'm
happening.
fainting.
It
Yeah.
was a legit
Yeah.
happening, is what I can
That's a
say.
happening.
The
Yes.
whole
That is
thing, Barbenheimer, the excitement, it's a happening, man.
it's a happening. It's a scene, man. And
It's a
when you
scene.
see a movie theater put up the word sold out,
Mhm.
Barbie sold out, there is no greater advertisement for anything than people knowing that it is sold out.
Yeah.
That is only going to make these movies even more popular throughout the week and next weekend. The fact that people went there desperate to see Barbenheimer and they were confronted with signs that said sold out. Nothing will make you like something more than not being able to have it.
Yes,
And that's
and
what happened to Barbenheimer.
the thing with Barbie's 155. Now, there were crazy this could make, I mean, I said 172. Where did you
Yeah,
go?
I
180
end
something?
up at 180, but 155 is absurd. This movie making 155 was unbelievable. When a month ago, the tracking was, hey, if this does 60, this will be great.
Yeah.
This blew the tracking on this blew up in the last month, and 155 opening is so far ahead of A, what anyone thought it would be a month ago, 6 months ago, and B, what it needed to be considered successful.
Oh, and this demand is higher than that amount of money. That's the thing, is that this thing is gonna hold
Yes.
spectacularly because it didn't have IMAXs, because Oppenheimer had that, but it did have Dolbys. And I
Mhm.
think, this is a movie that people are gonna see several times in several different formats. The
Yes.
people who sat out this time, either because they couldn't get a ticket or they were dubious about it,
Right.
are gonna go see this movie because
Yes.
this is a cultural event. And I think
Yes.
the same thing can be said about Oppenheimer. I mean, that's why
I
we're
think
divvying
so.
up the millions on both of them combined,
Yeah.
because they are so intrinsically linked in a way that no two movies I have ever been.
No, I don't think there have been weekends where 2 big movies open, famously because it's Nolan, Dark Knight opened against Mamma Mia, and both
But
ended up being
yeah.
spectacular hits, but there was not a Mama Night, combo
Yeah, yeah,
3 months
yeah.
going into that. People weren't talking about Mama Night or Dark
Dark
Mia.
Mia, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Dark Mia was not a meme in whatever year that came out, 2008. But I don't know if there were memes then, but amongst things that were memes, Dark Mia was not one of them. So there have been opening weekends that have had 2 giant hits, but
Yeah.
never one that had 2 giant hits that were smashed together in the consciousness the way Barbenheimer was. That's what makes this historic.
Yeah, and so, Pat, you saw this movie
I saw Barbie.
in La La Land, correct?
Yes. Well, not La La Land, in San Diego Land, which is 3
Oh, okay.
hours south of La La Land. The
Which
San Diego Comic-Con is not held in Los Angeles,
no,
which
so
is
here's the thing though,
not a lot of
isn't
people
it
know.
San Diego
Mhm.
Comic-Con,
Yeah.
it has been completely overshadowed. I mean,
Oh,
that people were
100%.
not
Yes.
talking. I mean, obviously, nobody showed up for it other than Kevin Smith,
Right.
but I mean, nobody was talking about that, and that, I think, shows that we are completely I mean, superheroes, are in trouble because that was
Superheroes are in
superhero
trouble.
central and
Yes.
nobody gives a shit anymore. I mean, of course,
Yes.
hardcore dorks always will, and it's great. Let them have their thing again, but the general populace, they're moving on
They're
because
moving on.
n this is being comped as an experience to Endgame,
Yes.
because there
Yes. But
hasn't been a big a weekend since Endgame opened, but there has not been a Marvel event the level of this in since then, and there never will be. I mean,
yeah.
and that's okay. Listen, I'm not saying Marvel sucks, Marvel stinks, whatever. They were never good. What I'm saying is that the zeitgeist has officially moved on. It
Yes.
is video games, it is toys, It
Yes.
is other things.
It is bomb makers.
It's
Yes.
bomb
Yes.
makers. I mean, listen, all the different bomb makers,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a Unabomber movie coming out at some point down the line when they just completely, you know, take all of the other, like, more legitimate bomb makers and they
Right.
squeeze
Right.
them dry. That might
Right.
be a good thing to go down the line 10 years from now, but
Right. A biopic on the guy who created, M80 firecrackers,
yeah,
that'll
yeah.
be huge. Yeah. Like,
Warhead the
right
guy who made Warheads, the candy.
right, right.
I mean,
Right
actually,
now,
I'm
whoever
surprised that hasn't actually already been put in production
yeah, it
because
might
that's a
be. I mean,
candy product thing.
maybe they get Baumbach to direct that one, Greta, I'm sure, will pass on it, but maybe her co-writer will get to direct the Warheads movie or the
Mhm.
M80 biopic movie, but I mean, you're right. I was at Comic-Con and it was a nothing happening situation. Very quickly I talked to some people, boots on the ground. Hall H, which is famously the place where people camp out all night. It's their dream to get into Hall H so they could sit their little butts in a chair all day and watch, stars come out in their superhero costume and wave and then disgustedly turn around and run to a limo. That's what people wait for. They
Mhm.
packed Hall H out this year. There were guys barking in front of Hall H telling them, "Come on in, we got air conditioning." It was like a
Oh,
it was like a comedy show in Times Square, New York, where people are barking, "Hey, Chappelle's
comedians from
show,
Chappelle
premium
Show.
blend." Yep.
Yep.
And instead they were saying, "Come on into Hall H. We got plenty of seats, we got air conditioning," because it was
Air
just
conditioning.
executive showing clips from shows that were going to air later in the week. That was happening at Hall H. No actors, no stars. But yeah, usually
Wow.
Comic-Con weekend, all entertainment news would be, hey, this announcement for phase 17 of Marvel, or hey, these are the DC movies that we got to see clips from, or hey, here's a look at the costume that someone's going to be in 4 years.
Yeah.
That's not the news. The only news is Barbenheimer sold out. When you talk about people who didn't go this weekend, who are going to go next weekend, I think a big part of that is people are going in groups to Barbenheimer,
Yes.
especially to Barbie. This is a party movie. This is a group movie. So I do think there were people who maybe you look at a screening and there's one or two seats and they're not next to each other. People are going to want to go to screenings where they could go with four. Listen, I went with a group of five,
Mhm.
coworker, two friends of ours, and wannabe intern Christopher, who I met for the first
Yeah.
time on site at San Diego Comic-Con. Great kid, future of America right there. We're proud to be molding the future of America. We want to be intern Christopher. Met his dad, great man, raising a
Great man.
great intern.
Same
But
age as us?
approximately, yeah, same age. We're all the
Okay.
same age, yeah.
Yeah.
But we've got to run tests to make sure we're what age we all are. So
Yeah, yeah.
results to come. But yeah, close in age to want to be intern Christopher's dad. Great man. And we went in a group, this big group, and we went and we partied and we laughed. And that theater that I saw Barbie in was just filled with groups of people having the time of their life. The exits of Barbie are going to be the greatest advertisement any movie could get, because people
Mhm.
were just losing their ass and coming out like it was like it was Mardi Gras,
Shaking their
and
A's.
shaking their A's around, but happily shaking. We were all shaking our A's around, and it's going to be, the word of mouth on this is going to be through the roof. So I
Now,
mean,
what's
historic.
so
This is historic.
what's so interesting about this Barbenheimer weekend is we kinda knew there'd be some dress up for the Barbie fans,
Hmm.
coming in pink, dressing like Barbie and Ken,
Yep.
but the surprising thing was the amount of people dressing up for Oppenheimer. Did you see this
Wow.
online? There was plenty of Oppenheimer cosplay going on. And you know what?
Wow.
There's something about that that just tickles me. I
Hmm.
you know me, I'm a cynical guy. I'm Gen X. We're born
Yes.
cynical. We're a
Yes. You
cynical
don't trust the
generation.
system, and you'll never sell out.
I mean, you're a millennial, so you maybe wouldn't understand this much, but the
I'm
thing
also Gen
about
X.
Gen Xers, not really, but not technically, but Gen Xers are cynical by nature. And you know
Hmm.
what?
Yep. We are.
Maybe, well, you're not once, you wouldn't know, but you only know because I tell you. But the thing about this is,
Saw
I'm
Reality
having a
Bites when
real
it came out,
I'm having a real you saw it on VHS, I'm sure. I'm having a
like a
real
true
hard
Gen
time
Xer.
being cynical about this weekend. Call me
Mhm.
soft, call me whatever. Call me I'm not gonna say call me a shill because I'm not a shill,
Not a
but
shell.
people may
No.
call me a shill. But, and we said in the previous episode, I had a real bug up my ass about this movie for some reason
Yes.
previous,
Yes.
and
We
it
almost
never
killed each
really
other the last 6 months over
we
Barbie.
did,
Yes.
and I can't stress this enough. We got into near physical altercations,
Yes.
all right?
Yes.
And then something just happened, and I just was overwhelmed by the sort of moment and the fact that this is momentous. And how could I be upset at a momentous event? And how can I be upset that Greta Gerwig now has the biggest opening for a female,
Yeah.
basically, and Noah Baumbach has a huge opening under his belt.
Yep.
And now, I know she's doing the Narnias possibly, but I
We'll
mean, this
talk
is a
about
blank.
that. Yeah.
This is a blank check thing. I mean, it, it- she is a superstar, and that was only proved this weekend that she is a superstar director
Yes.
along with Nolan. Because I
Yes.
talked to a lot of people about why they wanted to see this movie, and listen, this was in Brooklyn,
Well,
but
mhm.
one of the main reasons is because Greta directed it.
Yeah. We'll
That
we'll we'll
cannot be
get
overstated.
it can't I mean, we'll get to it when we start divvying up this 235 million for Barbenheimer, but yeah,
Yeah.
Greta is gonna get paid. She is officially a superstar director. I mean, I think in the list I'm gonna name now, I think she becomes the top of that list in terms
Mhm.
of, Christopher Nolan, Quentin Tarantino, Jordan Peele. I mean, her contemporaries, her main contemporary, I mean, they were up for the Oscar the same year as Jordan Peele. I think this moves her ahead of him, but they're in that boat of they are name above the title movie star directors, and I think she's officially up there with those top people: Nolan, Scorsese, Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Those are the directors that are basically the equivalent of having an above the title movie star. Reason why people go see it. So we'll get into how much of the 235 Greta Gerwig gets, but I do want to take this is a celebration right now,
Yes.
Barbenheimer weekend celebration, but I do want to take this moment to it's not a cut the shit, but it's a plea. This is a plea out here.
Okay.
You mentioned it right now. I don't know if it's official, but the rumors are Greta Gerwig's next project is to direct Witch in the Wardrobe movies for Netflix, possibly
Mhm.
two of those. And I love that she's getting to work on this property that she's probably always wanted, and she probably has an amazing take on it. And the movies will be great, I'm sure. And I'm sure she's getting a blank check budget. Netflix is just whatever it
Well,
costs,
there's no
go
supervision
do
over
it.
there.
There's no supervision, which is also fine. Let Greta Gerwig make a movie without
She doesn't need supervision at this
studio
point.
hacks. No,
Yeah.
the problem I have, of course, is that those movies will not be in movie theaters.
Mhm.
Those movies will not have box office. Greta Gerwig's follow up to Barbie needs to have box office
Mhm.
because a theatrical needs that. She right now sold more popcorn than Orville Redenbacher this weekend. More popcorn than Orville Redenbacher this weekend. That's what Greta Gerwig did. She sold a lot of popcorn, sold more mics than Ike. She sold
Mhm.
Raisinets out the wazoo. I mean,
Yeah.
this lady went out this weekend and she sold concessions with this Barbie movie. You cannot do that with a Netflix movie.
No.
And we want for her to be one of these all-time box office directors, and she's already been on a run. Little Women, I was gonna say Pretty Woman. Little Women made over 100 million domestic in 2019. A lot of people forget that was a huge, huge hit for what that
Mhm.
was. A drama about a book adaptation makes over 100 million. That was a huge hit. She follows it with Barbie, an all-time going to be the biggest movie of the year. We could say that right now. Barbie's not going to be
Yes.
top this year for box
No.
office. It is the biggest movie of the year.
And with
And
a
her
year
next,
that has Mario in it.
yeah, yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. And her follow up needs to have box office so that her next movie, which is whatever it was going to be, probably wouldn't open bigger than Barbie. Barbie's a once in a lifetime phenomenon, but
Yeah.
you'd want her to have that next movie that opens to 80 million, 90 million domestic,
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And if she goes to Netflix, if Netflix, and I'm not, this is not directed at Greta Gerwig, this is directed
No.
at Netflix and Amazon and Apple because I know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They
you know.
want to, and this is a cut the shit moment. That was a plea. This is a cut the shit moment. Netflix is trying to get Greta Gerwig away from theaters because they want to destroy movie theaters.
Mhm.
Amazon wants to destroy movie theater. Amazon less so because Amazon and Apple supposedly are putting movies in movie theaters. So I'll focus on Netflix. Netflix wants to destroy theatrical.
Mhm.
And that is a big reason why the Writers Guild strike and the Screen Actors Guild strike are happening because Netflix is right now leading all these old studios by the nose. Netflix is in charge of the studio conglomeration, and Netflix wants the movie industry to shut down because they want people just sitting at home watching Netflix, ordering food because eventually Netflix
This is what they
all they
want people to look like.
yeah. Right now, Clayton has got his eyes glazed over and he's sticking his tongue out. That is what Netflix wants people to look like. Just being at
Zombies.
home, not in a movie theater, sitting at home, eating stuff they order on Amazon. Because eventually Netflix just wants to get rid of movies and just have people watch reality shows on Netflix. And when they
Yep.
steal Greta Gerwig away from the theatrical box office, that is part of their plan.
Yes.
That is part of their plan. And they'll give her a check for 200 million to go make a Witch in the Wardrobe movie because that takes her away from theatrical. That means that
Mhm.
Greta Gerwig isn't selling popcorn, isn't selling Mike and Ike's, isn't selling Raisinets at these theaters. Instead, her audience is sitting at home watching Netflix. So
And
this
Pat,
is a
it,
concerted effort by Netflix to snuff out one of the great bright stars in theatrical, and that is why they're spending that money. And so
mhm.
cut the shit. We know what you're doing, Netflix. You're taking the director of Barbie, the biggest movie star director we have right now, and you're trying to take her away from theatrical. We, the BO boys, know what you're doing, and we're
Yeah.
calling you out. Cut the shit.
Wow. Powerful. Powerful words, Pat.
So this is a
Truly
celebration, but we
powerful.
just had to get that out there because we know what's happening with Netflix. So the celebration's on, and Clayton, the demos are in. Do you have
I was
some
just gonna
demos?
say,
Yeah,
man, you
yeah.
read my mind
You are the
about
demo
these
god.
demos. Let's start with a Barbie.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see.
So
Largest
look at
demo, 18 to 24 years old at 27%,
wow, the sweet
right?
spot.
Diversity demos, 42% Caucasian, 29% Latino and Hispanic, 12% Black, 17% Asian.
Mhm.
Barbie, this is a quote from Deadline, Barbie played strongest everywhere.
Wow. Wow. Usually we see a movie and, oh, this one mostly played in the Midwest, or this one
Yep.
just played in this, neighborhood in Brooklyn, or this one, blah, blah, blah. Barbie was everywhere.
Mhm.
Barbie, everyone loved Barbie. And I don't think there's going to be any political stripe that ends up being against this movie. It's just too much fun. This movie broke through to everyone.
And it was
And
68% female, but here's the thing about that.
mhm,
That is not going to be forever. That is this was a heavily leaning female fronted movie,
yep,
but dudes are gonna say, "I can't miss this.
I can't.
I, I
Yeah,
I can't miss this. I have to be able to go to the water cooler and talk about this movie."
yep,
Right? And
yep,
that's the thing is, a lot of men went to see this movie, but a lot more men are gonna see this movie this coming week and next weekend, and because you know what it is a breath of fresh air. You
mhm,
know, the stale Fast X, the stale indie, the
yep,
stale listen, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, Pat.
I know
And we're
what you're
not
gonna
happy
say.
to say it.
Oh,
The stale Mission Impossible.
yeah.
This is something
Stale
different.
Transformers.
Stale Transformers. Although, you know what? For a Transformers movie this late in the game, I mean, it actually did not do terribly. I mean, it
Right,
should have done a lot. I mean, stale superhero, stale Flash,
right.
right? So this is a movie that is going to gain males coming to
Yes,
it.
yes,
You
for
know, and
sure.
I think the thing with Oppenheimer, same deal. This was Oppenheimer, 64% guys.
Mhm.
But again, women are going to want to see this because it made $80 million.
Right, right,
You
right.
know, it's a huge hit. It's the other part, it's the back half of Barbenheimer. It is
Right.
the tail of the horse. They're going to want to see both. They maybe couldn't see it all in one day.
Right, right. There, the Barbenheimer challenge is, of course, to see it at the same day,
Mhm.
but not everyone is able to do such a grueling movie set. Now, listen, obviously, the BO boys, we had our stretches years ago where we would punish ourselves with up to 4 movies in a day. We would do 4
Yes.
to 5 movies in a day on a movie sneak day. And
It was
listen, we were younger
pre-Movie
back
Pass,
then.
pre-subscription, so you had
Yes.
to really stretch your bucks.
Yes. So, I mean, then again, we were much younger. At that
Yeah.
point, we were younger than Wannabe O Winter and Christopher's dad is now. So that's
Mhm.
how long ago that was. And we were able to do that. Not
Mhm.
everyone, I mean, let's just face it, not everyone has the butt that
Yep.
enables you to sit in a movie theater for the length of 2 movies in one day. Not everyone is born
Especially
with that butt. And
especially Oppenheimer is a very long film.
yes. So I think there's a lot of people who, like you said, saw one, they're going to want to complete the Barbenheimer cycle, but they couldn't do it on the same day because their butt wouldn't have allowed it.
Yeah.
So they will see it next week. I mean, there's
We
no
still
better
have the
advertisement for a
calluses.
movie than success. Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
still have the calluses because they don't ever go away.
No. And we wear them with pride.
Mhm. Now, a little bit more just for demos before we get
Hmm.
into the divvying. So, 64 we said for guys for Oppenheimer.
Hmm.
18 to 24, biggest demo, 33%. Diversity, 53% Caucasian, 22% Latino Hispanic, 9% Black, 15% Asian other. I mean, again, I'm just
Again.
going to say it. Latino and Hispanic, they love movie going. They are keeping movie going.
Yes.
I mean, we're
Yes.
seeing
Great
these,
demo.
they love movies. They love to go out there and support. They see everything. They see
Yes.
everything. They are movie lovers.
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
so awesome to see.
Yeah. So congratulations. We love to see the demos overrepresent.
Yeah.
So I mean, before we divvy up, I mean, we've been talking a lot of Barbie. Oppenheimer made $80 million this weekend.
Yeah.
Incredible. Higher than the high end of the expectations here. I mean, this was again a couple of months ago. The projections were maybe Barbie makes 40 to 60 and Oppenheimer's making 25 to 40.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, $80 million. It's Nolan's biggest opener. That's not a Batman movie.
Yeah.
It's honestly, listen,
It's his
I'll
third
say
biggest
it.
opener. It beat Batman Begins.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll say it. Last week on this show, I predicted this would be a hit, but I
Mhm.
didn't think it would be as big as his biggest non Batman movie, which was Inception. I figured that had Leo, that was playing more as an action movie. That made 62. I had Oppenheimer would come in high 50s. Blew that away. $80 million. Just a bigger opening than you got for Mission Impossible, than you got for Indy, than you got for The Flash, than any of these big summer movies. Oppenheimer blew all of them away. So Nolan is what he's always been, which is he is a movie star director as well. He is the equivalent of having a giant movie star in your movie. That is what
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan is. He
Yes.
delivered. He is a brand name. He's one of the biggest draws in Hollywood. and
Absolutely.
he did it.
But you know what? It is an element of, this big FU that Warner Brothers tried to pull on Nolan didn't backfire for them. It's weird
No,
because it
it
didn't
helped
hurt
everyone.
anybody. It helped everyone, which is
Yeah,
so great to see. I love the positivity. And listen, there's always going to be people online who are petty and they're going to just be at their keyboards and scream. But, people have completely ignored that. It's
yes,
there because people, there's people who are, I'm an Oppenheimer person. That's a serious movie. And Barbie is blah, blah, blah. But nobody's listening. Everybody's just looking at Barbenheimer positive memes.
yep,
That is the thing because people are sick of the fighting.
yep.
They're
Well,
sick of the
this is a
fighting every single moment of the rest of their lives. People are just saying, you know what? Shut up.
yep,
I'm going to see both of these and I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to dress
yep.
like Oppenheimer. Or I'm gonna dress like Ken, or I'm gonna dress like Barbie, or I'm gonna dress like Skipper, I'm assuming,
Right, right.
and they're gonna have a good time, and that is positive to me. We need more of that.
Yeah. Well, and it's great to see a positive situation that was born of spite because
Yes.
Warner Brothers scheduled Barbie against the opening weekend of Oppenheimer because Warner Brothers was spiteful against Christopher Nolan leaving them.
Mhm.
And it's so great that spite worked out for everyone. It is the
Mhm.
rare case where someone being spiteful was good for everyone.
Yeah.
So, in general, you don't want to advise people to act in a spiteful manner, but
Yeah.
Warner Brothers was spiteful and Christopher Nolan was happy about that. So,
Yeah.
all right. I think we should divvy up the millions because this is probably the best way to talk about who and why these movies succeeded and who deserves the bounty from the success. So,
Now, Pat, should you just
yeah.
create, like, a quick spreadsheet, like a Google spreadsheet to share with me so we can keep track of this money?
I mean, we could do that. Well, here I've got something in front of me, and I'll keep a rolling track, and we'll talk about it. We'll be
Okay.
able to do
I
that.
have a hard
So
time if it's not visual. You know how I am with numbers.
I know not good, but I'm great with numbers, so we'll be okay. So
Okay.
235 million is the combined domestic total of Barbenheimer. It was 80
Okay.
million for Oppenheimer and 155 for Barbie. So we're going to take that 235 and divvy it up amongst the parties and how much they deserve. So before we get into the numbers, let's just talk out who we think are the responsible parties that are going to need to get paid for what they did this weekend. I mean,
Okay, I mean, top of the
Greta Gerwig.
list, 2 of
Yeah.
them, Greta and
Yeah.
Nolan.
Greta and Nolan for sure. I'll on the filmmaker side, can I throw in Noah Baumbach? Could we talk about that?
You can, but
Just have
it's
something to
yeah,
talk about.
yeah,
So we
you
throw in
can.
Baumbach, co-writer of Barbie. In terms of actors, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, right? We're throwing
Yes,
them in.
absolutely.
And we are gonna throw in um for the stars of Oppenheimer. I mean, Cillian Murphy. We gotta say his name. He's got to make something off of this. He's got to make something off this. His Punim was all over these Barbenheimer posters.
Oh,
So
yeah, people were dressing I mean, women were dressing like him.
yeah, I mean
Uh
the thing is, dapper man.
oh,
Oppenheimer was
Dapper
very
Man,
dapper, and very
he
dapper
ate
man.
1 almond a
So
day to get that figure. I mean, listen, I don't know if this is unhealthy for me, but I might do the Oppenheimer diet. I'm not gonna lie.
do it for a while and see where it takes you. We'll
Yeah,
stop you before it kills you. That's what or the fans will write in if they feel like, they're watching
yeah,
the YouTube videos now, and it's a great promotion for our YouTube channel, which is Clayton goes on the Oppenheimer diet, eats 1 almond a day, and if you feel like he's looking too sickly, put it in the comments.
mhm,
That'll
yeah.
be how we manage your health is in the comments of our YouTube channel.
You know who
So
I'll throw in here?
sure,
RDJ.
yep,
Back
big
to
time,
real acting,
yep.
his words.
His words, and he got those words out there before the strike, so he did promote this movie. So yeah, Downey
Yeah.
Jr. and Oppenheimer. I mean, I'll throw in Matt Damon from Oppenheimer,
Yep. What about
and
Emily Blunt?
Emily Blunt, and I think we gotta say the name of Florence Pugh. I think those are your Oppenheimer
Oh, yeah,
actors.
and Josh Peck, you gotta put Josh Peck in there.
I'm gonna put him in parentheses, which means that he's not gonna get anything.
Okay.
And then are the I saw Barbie,
Okay.
and in terms of other actors in there, I'm gonna throw this name out there, Michael Cera.
Michael Cera. Great.
That's who I'm gonna put out there as another name for Barbie. And
And you
now
know
let's
who
get into
else
it.
we there's one more though. I do think might for actors in the movies
Okay.
that possibly could get a little money would have been America.
Okay, so we'll put in uh the co-star of Barbie, America Ferrer. So we're gonna put her in there, see how many millions she gets out of this. And let's now talk about other factors here.
Okay.
Um, the Barbie IP.
Yes, Barbie IP.
So Barbie IP is going to have to get something slash Mattel, but a
Yeah.
Barbie IP, and
The
the bomb
memes.
IP. Well, I'm going to say the IP of the bomb,
Okay.
the IP that is the bomb. So the bomb IP, the memes. So
The
and when
memes.
it comes to memes, I'm going to throw this name out there because I've looked up where these Barbenheimer memes started. So it looks like concept artist Sean Longmore was one of the first. That's the name I'm seeing there.
But we're not using those people's those a meme belongs to the people. A meme
Okay.
is not created by a person. If a meme is made in in the forest and there's nobody around to, like it or say it's dank or shadow ban you, then it's not a meme. Okay? So
Okay.
good for this fellow or person, but they're not you may have, started the flood, but
Mhm.
the actual, water is what we're talking about.
So
Okay.
the money will be for the meme community,
The meme community. Yeah.
and it will just go into a like a lockbox, or just go into, I mean, it'll go into cryptocurrency
It goes
for.
into crypto for people to make more higher tech, more expensive memes.
Okay. So that will
And it's
count
a
the meme.
communal. So it's like grab whatever you can and make your meme.
Right. Right. Just grab a fistful of Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and run
Yeah.
run out and make some memes. Okay, so the meme community.
Um, Tom Cruise, we just gotta mention Tom Cruise because he's been holding up tickets to all these movies, and he, held up the 2 tickets to Oppenheimer and Barbie, so
Mhm.
it didn't work for Flash, and it ain't gonna work for Blue Beetle, and it didn't work for Indy, but it worked
Right.
for these, so let's see.
All right.
I mean,
So
it's a
Tom
bad batting
Cruise.
average. It's a bad batting average, we'll say.
So Tom Cruise might get some money from Barbenheimer. I mean, I'm going to say Warner Brothers marketing. Obviously
Yes.
Universal was the one marketing Oppenheimer, but I think Warner Brothers marketing is uh really what basically did the marketing for both movies in some way. So Warner Brothers marketing department, and which we know whatever money goes to Warner Brothers marketing, though, David Zaslav is just going to reach in and he's going to yank that up. But
Yeah, but let's not talk. I mean, that name is not going to be in this list.
yes, okay. So
No
Warner
execs'
Brothers,
names are going to be in this list.
hardworking, boots on the ground marketing. Ideally, this is for the middle managers, for the marketing
For
coordinators
the
and
middle
such.
managers?
Yeah, in the marketing department.
Oh, come on. The
Who
creatives, the middle
the
managers. What are you
creatives?
talking about? The
Okay, so
creatives. The money goes to creatives.
the Warner Brothers
Middle
marketing
managers. What the fuck are you talking
creatives.
about? Yes, thank you. Jesus.
Wow, that
Middle
is that is
managers.
that is a
What are
Gen
you
X
talking?
outburst.
It was middle managers. You kidding me? Are
This
you
guy,
effing
this guy,
kidding me?
this guy will never sell out. He will
I'm
never
gonna go
sell
get an
out people.
espresso and play some hacky sack. Listen to
So,
some Temple of the Dog.
so are there other parties that should get in here for Barbie,
I mean, we can
Oppenheimer for
slip some in if we
Barbenheimer?
think of them, but I do think this is a good starting list. This is a
Okay.
heavy, heavy list of hitters.
Okay. So right off the bat, Greta Gerwig, the writer, co-writer, and director of Barbie.
Mhm.
to me, is the person who should end up with the biggest share that anyone gets out of this 235. Do you have any
I I agree.
argument?
I agree, because she was such a draw. She was a sneaky draw. I mean, we
Yeah.
know Nolan is a draw. I mean, we
Mhm.
knew he was one. I mean, after Tenet and that, all that stuff happening and him, you know, just mouthing off. But I mean, he came back strong, but I still think that Barbie is first. It's Barbenheimer. It's not
Right.
Oppenarby.
Right.
And it
Right.
could be because, that sucks, and it's a
Mhm.
bad combination that way, but this is driven by Barbie. Barbie is the driver of this.
Yes.
Like I
Yes.
said, it's the head of the horse, and Oppenheimer is the tail,
Is the patoot. Yeah.
is the
So
patootie. So, yes, I agree. She gets the most money.
yeah. So I mean, 235, it's the biggest number. Oh no, we've divvied up a billion before. That's right. When Joker hit a
Oh, yeah,
billion,
with
we divvied up a
Joker.
billion. So we've divvied up bigger numbers than 235. But I mean, I think
You give her
that
100.
she gets 100. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
let's
right off
make
the
it easy
bat,
on us. Make it easy for
she
me, 100.
and you know what? She gets 100 million. And then that allows her to take that 100 million and just go self-finance your next movie for movie theaters, Greta Gerwig.
Mhm.
Take this 100 million payday that the BO boys are giving you from Barbenheimer and make your big passion project outside of Netflix so it could go into
Mhm.
movie theaters. $100 million, you don't have to make a Witch in the Wardrobe movie. Just find some other YA book that rips off Witch in the Wardrobe and make a Greta Gerwig movie out of that for 100 million.
Mhm.
It'll be great. So if Greta gets 100, I feel like she's got to get, this movie opened to 155 and Oppenheimer opened to 80. So open to about half of what Barbie did. So I feel like Nolan should get half
40.
or less than half. Yeah, 40. 40 feels good. Yeah.
Yeah,
He get he gets basically half of what Oppenheimer did for the whole weekend because he's
I think so.
the biggest star of that movie.
He
Uh,
absolutely is, yes.
Next person I have on the list here, I want to throw him out there is Noah Baumbach, co-writer of Barbie, and of course he is the sweetheart of Greta Gerwig. They are coupled together. One of my favorite filmmakers ever. This is my
Me as
guy.
well. Me as
But I'm going
well.
to throw this out here, Clayton. Noah Baumbach gets $0.
Okay.
Here's why. Not because he didn't do anything on this, co-wrote it. I'm sure the movie was hilarious. I'm sure Noah Baumbach helped write a ton of great jokes for this movie.
I mean, he
But
definitely was the one who made the Malkmus reference.
yes, for
Yeah,
yes, the pavement joke was Noah Baumbach. We
yeah.
could safely say that for sure. So I think he should get $0 because
Joint bank
listen,
account.
joint bank account. So exactly. He's living off of Greta,
Yeah.
which is the guy's in the catbird seat. He's in a great
Uh,
spot, living off of
yeah.
Greta Gerwig the rest of his life. Who would need anything more? And also, he's been divorced. Don't know what the situation with his divorce is. If he gets
Yeah,
a
yeah,
big
yeah.
payday from this, and nothing
Mhm.
against Jennifer Jason Lee,
Nope.
but a big
Great
payday
actor.
from this, he's liable to just that money goes right towards whatever his divorce
Yes.
situation was, and he might
Protect
have to
that
pay that
money.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So basically he doesn't get anything here, but
He's a winner.
Greta's paying the bills.
He's the biggest winner of everybody if.
Exactly. Exactly. So no Baumbach gets $0, but one of the greats. We love him and can't wait to see the next thing he co-writes. Margot Robbie as Barbie. To me, of all the actors in either of these movies, I think Margot Robbie has to get the most money of any actor today. Do
Mhm.
you agree or disagree?
Yes, it was the part she was born to play.
Yes.
And, it's almost like, do we give Amy Schumer money for stepping away from this project?
Yeah, I don't know if she stepped away or if it was stripped from her, but yes, at one point, Barbie was set to be an Amy Schumer vehicle. And
And
listen,
Diablo Cody, I think, tried to pass at it and just couldn't crack it.
yeah,
But
and listen, I mean, I love Diablo Cody as a writer, and Amy Schumer, we always stick up for. She had a movie star run. She had Trainwreck,
yes,
and she had what was it, Picture Perfect, Pretty Perfect. She had I'm
I
So
Feel
Pretty.
Pretty.
I Feel Pretty. Couple of movies like that. The one with her and Goldie Hawn. Also, she opened movies for a couple of years. So
Yeah.
we're always supporters of Amy Schumer as one of the last comedy movie draws that we've had. But she did end up not playing Barbie. So do we give her 1 million for not
Let's
playing
give her
Barbie?
$1 million because the
And
thing
this is
is,
not a
if
crack at Amy Schumer, and this is
no,
a uh if she had played her, then that movie could have been good in its own way, but it wouldn't have been the Gerwig Margot
it's
Robbie
not
movie.
it's not gonna make
So so she gets
$155 million.
1 million.
Yeah.
So Margot Robbie, though, she is the one who played Barbie. She
Mhm.
was excellent in this movie, but she was the promotional machine for this. They had her before that strike went up, and rumors are that the SAG strike was supposed to start the end of June. They negotiated extension, and the rumor is basically to cover the promotional time needed for Barbie.
Yeah.
They wanted to be able to get Margot Robbie out there in 50 different Barbie costumes on 50 different premieres. And that's what she did. She was working her butt
Yes.
off promoting this movie.
Well, she was a
So,
producer as well, so she had
yep.
skin in the game, and the thing about
Yes.
her is that she has gotten into producing, and this is her big hit, right? I mean, Suicide Squad, whatever you wanna say about it, I mean, that was a superhero at the height of superhero. It had Will
Yes.
Smith, it had her, and of course, people wanted to see Harley, but again, when Harley did her solo movie, nobody gave 2 Fs.
Yeah.
This is her big we said this is her Deadpool. She's the
Yes.
female Ryan Reynolds and finally found her Deadpool. This is great, and yes, she deserves the most because she's Barbie.
She's Barbie. Yeah. And it's Barbenheimer is what drove this. I mean, I think the thing we'll see here is that so much of the credit for Oppenheimer goes to Barbie. If Oppenheimer had opened a week later, Barbie maybe does almost as well, but Oppenheimer does not do as well.
Yes,
So
yes, the
I
movie that yeah, that made the most hay from this was Oppenheimer.
yeah, I mean, here's my thought: is that Margot Robbie has to make more than all of the actors in Oppenheimer combined.
Agreed.
I think yeah, combine the cast of Oppenheimer cannot make more than Margot Robbie. I mean, do I think Margot Robbie should make more than Christopher Nolan. I think she gets
Yeah.
41 million.
Okay, yeah, give her right over the top. I mean, these ones are kinda making it hard for me to keep track of, but you're keeping track of
How
it, so
about 44 million? That way her 44
love it.
plus
Love it, I
Amy
love it.
Schumer. So
44.
the combined, you get to 45 between the actress who played Barbie and the actress who did not play Barbie. So
Yeah.
Margot Robbie gets 44. Ryan Gosling, again, I saw this movie. He was great.
Ken has so
There
much buzz going right now.
Yeah.
They dropped these songs on Spotify that people are going crazy for.
Yeah.
You know, he does a cover of Push by Matchbox 20. He
Mhm.
does the I'm Just
Which
Ken song or whatever that song is, which brings the house down.
brings the house down. The musical stretch of this movie, the Matchbox 20 song kind of leads into the Ken song, and it is a
Okay.
long stretch of just Ken taking over the screen. Gosling is incredible in this movie. I mean, I think there's going to be Oscar buzz for both of
Mhm.
them. I don't know. I feel like Margot Robbie as lead actress for Barbie is probably more likely, but uh, on this date right now, do not discount Ryan Gosling getting a supporting actor nomination as Ken.
I'm
Obviously,
hearing that as well. So,
you know,
here's the thing that's great about this opening for him. The biggest opening before this for him was the Blade Runner sequel,
yep.
and that opened at 33.
Wow.
Now, You can look at that and you can, at first I scoffed at that. And I
Mhm.
was buying into the whole like, oh, well, that's the thing about Gosling. He's just like Gyllenhaal, where, you know, everybody says they love him so much, but they don't go to see movies with him in it. The thing that is refreshing about that number is that he didn't get into the superhero machine. He doesn't
Right.
have padded stats. He didn't play, you know, uh Silver Surfer in a
Mhm.
terrible Avengers movie
Right,
or a
right,
terrible Fantastic Four movie or whatever that opened to 90 million or 115 million or
right,
120 million and is forgotten now. And
right,
being like, by its start, its marquee star, Iron Man, being forsaken.
right.
He's going to have a pretty good looking CV. And yeah, Barbie is a big IP movie, but it feels like such a good fit for him and
Mhm.
like a worthwhile IP movie instead of just being another dude in a jumpsuit. I
Right,
mean,
right.
I'm sure, listen, would he have liked that paycheck? But his Barbie 2 paycheck is going to make up for not being whatever dumb superhero Marvel probably wanted him to be.
Exactly. Yeah, and listen, he hasn't been a superhero movie, but he's had hit movies that I think are heavily dependent on him. I think the biggest plus in his column before this movie is La La Land
La
because
La
that
Land,
movie got to
yes.
150 domestic.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's a two-hander with Emma Stone, and she is a bigger star than him, but
But you give him credit for that.
oh yeah, he is the thing is he is very well liked in a way that
Yes.
Chrissy Hemme isn't as beloved as
No.
Ryan Gosling, not even close. So getting down to brass tacks, he's got to make significantly less than Margot Robbie.
Because he's
And
Ken. He's just Ken. It's all about Barbie, so he's got to make less.
I mean, I think less than half, but I'd say maybe 20. Do we want to go
Uh,
20 on
all right.
Gosling?
20 is good to me.
All right,
Nice even
so
number.
moving over to some actors from uh Oppenheimer, as we said, the cast of Oppenheimer has to make less combined than Margot Robbie's 44. So Cillian Murphy, Downey, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh. Who gets the most out of that? I'll let you give your take first.
You know what? I gotta say, and we were poo-pooing this earlier, when we were talking about Oppenheimer possibly not being big because it didn't have a star. But man, this guy, Cillian Murphy's face is all over the place. He's the guy everybody's dressing up as. And listen, I know it's TV, but Peaky Blinders, a lot of people watch Peaky Blinders. So I think there was a draw here.
Well, here's what I'll say then. I don't think the money should go to Cillian Murphy. I think the money specifically should go to, and you said it, Cillian Murphy's face. Because it's
Okay.
not about Cillian Murphy as an actor, though I hear he's a shoe-in for Best Actor nomination, possibly a win for this. Great actor.
Yeah.
It's not about his resume, and he's been in big movies, and he's popped up in the Dark Knight movies, and 28 Days Later, everyone loves. But it's not about him as a draw. It is about him as a face.
Yeah.
Beautiful face that he got through eating one almond a day.
Yeah.
Basically, he's created a diet craze that Clayton's going to take on, and we see if he lives through it. But
Yeah.
is that face on that poster, and that face that is a big part of the Barbenheimer memes. So I think Cillian Murphy's face is what gets a portion of this. And
I think the
ma-
Oppenheimer suit does too. I mean, I think that's an iconic hat and coat combination.
okay, so the Oppenheimer clothes are in there. So I think Cillian Murphy's face should get 6 million. Does that feel right? Cillian Murphy's face gets 6, and Oppenheimer clothes get 2. Let's get them on the board for 2. They get a third of his face. So, in terms of actors, I think Downey Jr. should be the second most highly paid actor in the Oppenheimer cast because
Agreed.
he's get right now and again, not that many great movies have come out this year, not a lot of Oscar movies. So obviously coming out of this weekend, It's, people make it sound like the Academy Awards is just going to be for Barbie and Oppenheimer. But that said,
I hope it is. People would
the
watch it.
the word is Downey Jr. for supporting actor is going to be the favorite. And I think when you talk about events, a big event for this weekend was Downey Jr. finally being in a good movie or being in a real
Yes.
movie, and Downey Jr.
Yeah.
finally getting to act again, which is what he said. He finally gets to act again. He didn't know if he could
Well,
do it.
respect for the judge. Let's have a little respect for the judge. I
Well,
mean,
coming off of the judge, Downey didn't know if he could still act. So that
that's
that
true.
didn't that didn't make it
But you
clear to
gotta
him that he
water
could
the
still act.
the effing hydrangeas.
You
You
got to
got
water
it.
the
You
effing
got it. I
hydrangeas.
live by that. That's the words I live by. Here's why I think he deserves a lot of money,
Okay.
because he was the guy who, you know, started the superhero renaissance, really was pushing those movies. He was the most popular actor, the most popular character of all those superhero movies, other than the stalwarts who were always going to be refillable, like your Batmans, your Spider-Mans, and those two are kind of it, and Joker.
Hmm.
I do think that Iron Man, him as Iron Man, is not refillable. Like, you can't have another Iron Man, no one will care. And what I'm getting to here is that he has become a Pied Piper away from superheroes for his fan base, and he still has a fan base. And
Hmm.
he's telling these people, grow up and watch a
Yes.
real movie. And that real movie is Oppenheimer. And I'm in it. And I'm not Iron Man anymore. Listen, the toupee is gone.
Yep.
Or
It's gone.
whatever it is. And listen, the hair system, whatever it is, it's gone. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
serious
Shave the
Downey
plugs.
right now.
Yeah.
Right. And you need to come with me. And people followed. And
Yep.
so I do think he brought a lot of people to Oppenheimer who would be like, well, I guess I'll wait till Blue Beetle comes out to see now they're like, oh, I can see a real ass movie.
Right.
So
Right.
I think he gets a pretty heavy paycheck. Not that
I
he
mean,
needs it.
do you think he gets more than Cillian Murphy's face then amongst the Oppenheimer cast? Does he get 7?
I'd give him more. Well,
Cillian
no.
Murphy's face and Oppenheimer's clothes combined make 8.
Okay, well then I would give him 7 because
Okay.
Killian, the face is nothing without the hat and the suit.
Okay. Great. So then Downey ends up being the highest paid member of the Oppenheimer cast, which I think is fair. We have
Mhm.
Matt Damon in here. I don't know if
I don't
Matt
think
Damon does
anything.
anything.
No. I won't give him anything because I think there's other things that he's done recently that he deserves money for, but I think he's just another guy doing a job on this movie, which is great. But I don't think, he did a little bit of promo. Him and Emily Blunt were very, very charming out there. I mean,
Right.
here's what I'll say. They did the internet shows. So let's give them each $1 million
Okay. So
for
Damon
being
gets
really
1
charming
million.
on the internet shows.
Okay. So Damon and Blunt each get 1 million basically to cover the cost of transport to these different production studios to do, internet shows, and for
Mhm.
the cost of whatever scrubbing they need to do after interacting with internet chat show hosts,
Yes,
because they're going
yes.
to want to wipe off whatever it was, the smell of the host, the smell of whatever goos and foods were put on them to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
these internet shows. So yeah, they need some money to sort of
Whatever their
disinfect
favorite
themselves.
snacks they had to eat or whatever, they had to pretend they eat Cheetos or something.
Right. So they each get a
Emily
million
Blunt had to
dollars.
be like, "I love Cheetos. I love hot Cheetos."
Right, right.
Yeah.
So Damon and Emily Blunt get $1 million to disinfect after going on an internet talk show tour. So Florence Pugh, I think she gets a little more than Damon and Blunt, because one of the things you heard about in this Oppenheimer movie was I'll call them the relationship scenes between Florence
Okay.
Pugh and Cillian Murphy's face. And I do think there's a little bit of a draw that you're going to get to see Florence Pugh in relationship scenes. And also she's a great actress and, does have a following, and she gets a little bit, she's in the Gerwig-averse because she got a Oscar nomination for Little Women. So I think she gets sort
Yeah.
of like pulled into the Barbenheimer thing in a bigger way than other actors because she's linked to Greta Gerwig.
Well, okay, I don't wanna be crass here, and I don't wanna be base, and I don't want to, you know, eh, there was
You
talk that you saw the dong, right? That you saw Cillian Murphy's dong,
okay? There
right?
was
Do
talk
we give
about
any
that.
money to the idea of seeing his dong? I mean, can we add, like, half a mil to the it's like his face, the suit, and his dong?
I would then I gotta say, I don't think that was a draw. I think it
Okay,
I don't think it
it never
really
took off.
was.
The dong never got traction.
I never saw it in one of the memes, so I'm gonna say
Okay.
no. Cillian Murphy's face was in the memes, the clothes were in the memes. The dong never made it to a Barbenheimer meme that I visited. Obviously, there's message boards, and I'm sure on the dark web, the Barbenheimer memes are very different than the ones we saw, but I don't think those memes really drew anyone into the theater. So
Okay.
I'd give none to the
Alright.
dong. But back to
We have to
Florence
be
Pugh.
thorough. We have to be thorough.
Oh, definitely. No, you've got to ask these questions, Clayton. So Florence Pugh, I'd give her two. I think she gets 2 million if Damon and Blunt got one apiece.
Okay, I mean, this has been our least divisive divvying ever, I feel like, and, so I'm not gonna fight you on this, but I don't think I don't think she deserves more than those 2.
Really? I think she
I just
felt
don't
like a
think
bigger
she's a
part of this
prime.
movie. Again, the relationship scenes, quote
Okay,
unquote.
alright. Okay,
There's a lot of
well,
talk about those.
let's go I mean, let's go with that then.
So we've
I
got
don't
two
have
actors.
enough fight in me to give Florence Pugh less money. I mean, listen,
Exactly.
she's great. Why am I gonna argue against Florence Pugh getting $2 million?
We've still got a lot to get through here, so let's quickly go through the last two actors I have here for Barbie are America Ferrera and Michael Cera. Listen, Michael Cera plays a character called Alan in this film,
Mhm.
a discontinued Barbie toy that was, I think, a friend of Ken's. Plays this Alan character. Big comedic moments from Michael Cera. And he's one of those actors who you always think went away, but actually he never went away. And you think that people don't like him, but they do like him.
I like him. Here's the thing, his movies are watched by young people.
Okay. And his web
That
series are watched by old people.
Yeah, absolutely. But that movie that he did with
Yeah.
Edgar Wright, what is it again? I can't remember the name of that movie. You know what I'm talking about.
Spot
Scott Pilgrim.
Pilgrim versus the world or something. Yeah.
That movie is huge among young people,
Hmm.
and he's getting a second wind. I think he's found where he wants to be. He's like, I'd be in a big movie again after wandering around in indies for a long time. I think he is a draw for people our age and younger. So I do think he should get a little bit of dough here.
All right. Throw a number out there. How
Well,
many
what do we
hoodies is this
have?
guy buying? Well, let's throw a number out there based on what we've done so far, and then we'll add it up and we may have to adjust before we lock everything
Okay.
in. But based on what we've been giving actors so far, this is all going to go towards hoodies for Michael Cera. So you
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
me, how
yeah.
many hoodies is he going to be able to buy?
I mean, I'd give him $3 million worth of hoodies. What do you think?
Wow, that is I mean, hoodies are not that expensive. So 3 million, this guy is just going to be swimming in red hoodies going forward. Next up, America Ferrer, who huge TV star. I mean, honestly, our generation's Ted Danson in terms of television. That not just one hit show, but a second. She had
Mhm.
Ugly Betty, but then she had Superstore,
Yeah.
and I saw this film. She's the third lead in this movie. Has a big speech everyone's talking about. Again, there's some Oscar buzz starting out there. So this is a person who is just beloved by everyone. A recognizable face. Everyone loves her. So I think she should get paid for sure.
So you think
Um,
more than Michael Cera?
yes, I'd go 3.5 million because I do think she should end up ahead of Michael Cera.
I would go as high as 4.
You'll go to 4, I'll go to 4. If you're going to
Let's do
4, I'll
it.
go to 4. So America's at 4. Now we got some big ones that I think we're going to have to go back and readjust some numbers because we have not given any money to the Barbie IP. The Barbie IP.
Yeah, that's big. That's a generational IP, just like Mario was. This was something that hadn't been utilized effectively in the media before. I mean, there was crappy cartoons and straight to video stuff and things like that. But I mean, yeah, money wise, I mean,
I mean, are we talking
50?
some I mean, we're going to have to go back and readjust some stuff then. Because we're going to be going over that 235, which is fine because this is a living document. We'll adjust.
Yeah.
But Barbie IP is 50. The next thing I have up here then is the Bomb IP.
Bomb IP, this is the first big bomb movie. So I don't think bombs are this is the one that's gonna kick off the bomb
Okay.
IP mania. The bomb, no. I
So
mean, the
you don't think bombs inherently were a hot IP going into this
no,
weekend?
no. I think
Okay.
this made bombs. This is gonna make bombs. This
Yes.
is the only movie because think about it, like, Godzilla movies are about a bomb dropping and then waking up a lizard, but the bomb is not
The
the
bomb's not the
main
star. Yeah.
attraction. The bomb is
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
star. This is a movie where the bomb is the star, but
Yeah.
this is the first movie where a bomb has been a star. So I think it sets the precedent, but I don't think it gets any money because people weren't coming to see this because of the bomb.
I think I think though the I agree with you. I do think in the sense that Oppenheimer made so much of his bones on IMAX. And obviously, Nolan is known as an IMAX director, and you got to see
Yeah.
Nolan movies in IMAX. But when it comes to Oppenheimer, the thing people, whether it's in the movie or not, I don't know. I haven't seen this film yet. People wanted to see the bomb
I mean,
in
the bomb's in the
IMAX.
film.
The
There's no
bomb
way the
is in the
bomb
film.
isn't in the film. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is one of those
This is
things
not
they're
a
not
spoiler to say the
stupid,
bomb's in the film. Yeah.
and they're not
So
stupid like a bunch of IPs have done where they're like, "We're gonna save the bomb for the next movie." Like Mortal
so
Kombat, where it's like, the tournament doesn't happen till the next movie. They show the bomb in this.
so then people wanted to see the bomb go off in IMAX. So I think that's where the bomb gets some credit is that it was the draw in IMAX. But if Barbie IP got 50, then I think Bomb IP could get a tenth of that. So 5 for the Bomb IP.
Yeah, let's give 5. 5 for the bomb.
Okay. Meme community. This is one that I think we
This is
do have
big.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
15,000,000. 15,000,000. 15 to 20. Listen, I think this gets a lot.
yeah.
This gets
Yeah.
more than
The
the
art.
Warner Brothers marketing, absolutely. Because
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I think turned for me is that we had these conversations, these fights. I'm gonna call them I won't call them conversations. They were fights. They were
oh,
arguments. They were
they almost turned into mixed martial arts matches. You know,
yeah,
we
talking
were
about Mortal Kombat. We
right.
almost
The only
yeah.
reason it didn't come to blows is because let's just say now we were in talks with various mixed martial arts leagues
Mhm.
about setting up a big payday for us to finally settle this Barbie dispute on a mixed martial arts pay-per-view card. The numbers never worked out, and so it never happened, but
Well,
that is how close we came.
we were gonna be an undercard for the Elon Musk Zuckerberg, and that thing is just in the mud. It's not moving. So
Right.
we had to move on.
Yeah.
Uh, I think the thing that changed with me is that I think the Warner Brothers marketing team didn't do a good job with this. I think the internet did a good job with this. And listen, I hate the internet, but I'm going to give them their flowers.
Wow.
I'm going to even use their young people terms, which I hate to do.
Mhm.
I'm going to give the internet and these memes their flowers. They made this into something people wanted to see because Warner Brothers was not doing a good job marketing this movie. That was one of my biggest issues
I mean,
with
I
it, where I was
disagree. I
like,
disagree there
listen,
because the stuff that the meme community had to work with was the art created by Warner Brothers. It was those Barbie posters, the pinkness of everything. Like Warner Brothers marketing gets credit for they went for it. They went all out, and the job of a marketing department is to make people just be engulfed in the marketing, and that's what they did.
Oh,
Obviously,
that's
the
right. I'm
meme
sorry. You're the
community.
guy who sticks up for middle managers, so you should be the guy who thinks the
I'm the
marketing
guy who
department
sticks
is
up
what the
from the creatives who created the art that then the meme community turned into something else, but it started somewhere. So listen, we're on the same page. The meme community should get
gets more than the
a
marketing.
nice
I
batch
think
of
it gets more
Dogecoin.
than the marketing.
So I mean, are we giving the meme community 15,
Yeah,
20?
I'd give them 15. I think that's low. I'll be honest with you, but
All
I'll
right,
give
so
them
let's go
15.
20
20.
for the meme community, and then the Warner Brothers marketing creatives, not the middle
Not the
management.
middleman. Yeah.
Fine. They don't get any of this. The
Do you want to give
creatives get,
HR something? You want to give HR something while we're at it? Pat? Want to
you know,
give
our
HR
HR department might be dealing with some complaints soon.
the BO Boys HR
On-air
department?
harassment. Yeah. Yeah.
On-air
Um,
harassment. How dare you?
Warner Brothers marketing creatives, if the meme community got 20, does the marketing department get 5?
5.
5.
5.
And then Tom Cruise is the last thing I have on this list. Tom Cruise, of course, went out there and he was plugging every movie that came out this summer, plugging The Flash, plugging Indiana Jones. He's plugging Transformers. I don't think he ever got to Joyride. I think Tom Cruise never
No.
mentioned Joyride, but he did say you got to see Barbie, you got to see Oppenheimer. Here's what I'll say. I think he gets 0 because I think his credibility was shot by the time we got to
Yep.
Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he put it over the top when he said Blue Beetle was what theaters needed.
Yeah.
No, Tommy. I think Barbie and Oppenheimer is what theaters needed. Yeah, and I think the one thing you can give him money possibly for is because Mission Impossible gave up some screens and he ain't ever getting them back. It's one of those things where like Tom
Mm,
thinks that those screens are coming back, but he's got to know you are Drew Bledsoe, my friend, and Barbenheimer is Brady. You got
yeah.
knocked out. You got knocked the F out, to quote a
Yeah.
movie. And again, I can't do an impression because I am on strike.
Right.
Cannot
You
do an
cannot
impression
do
of
an
that
impression.
character.
Yeah.
But you got knocked the F out, Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe he gets nothing. And you know what? I would have
Here's what we'll
said
give him. How about we give him this? This is what we give him. He doesn't
give him a
get any of the
screen.
money he doesn't get any money out of this 235, but I think Cruz gets one IMAX screen of his
Let's
choosing.
let's give him one IMAX in whatever market he wants.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it can play Mission Impossible 7 all summer.
Yes. Yes.
That
Tom
one
Cruise gets
screen, yeah.
yep. He gets to pick one IMAX screen that will play Mission Impossible until it goes to PVOD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not
So
like Lincoln Square or
no,
like
no, no.
the
He's got to
Grove or
pick
anything.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to
Yeah.
find the one IMAX that's, out there in the stacks, that's up on a
Mhm.
hill, a real podunk
I would just
IMAX.
say not
And I say
major
podunk with love.
markets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not
Not
potent.
major markets.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a podunk town. It could be just a
No,
not
but
major.
just not Philly, Chicago, New York, or LA.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Great. So he gets one IMAX screen, so that doesn't count towards the
Or
235.
Texas. Or Texas.
So now I'm going to add up what we have so far and see.
I couldn't even tell you, Pat. If you gave
So
me $1
so
million,
here we go.
I couldn't tell you how much we did.
Gerwig gets 100. Nolan gets 40. That's 140. Bombeck gets 0. I'm just gonna add them up and say it without saying the names. 140,
Let's do it.
141, 185, 205,
This is great radio.
211, 213, 220, 221, 222, 224, 227, 231. Now here's where we're way over. 281,
Okay.
286, 306, 311. So we're at 311. We gotta shave off.
Well, that
We gotta
extra money
shave.
was crowdfunded.
So yeah, we got to shave off about 75 million or 80 million here. So I'll throw this out there. Nolan's at 40. Do we bring Nolan down a bit?
He's such a big draw to this. I'll take it. Let's bring him down because I do think the marketing of this, the memeing of this, really helped this movie in a way that let's give Nolan 20.
Okay. So Nolan gets 20.
Do you think that's low?
It feels a little low. Let's go 25.
25, love it.
So he gets a quarter of. I mean, I think we keep Gerwig at 100.
We got to.
We previously gave Amy Schumer 1 million. I think she has to get nothing.
Sorry, Amy.
So Schumer's out. So Margot Robbie's at 44. Do we bring her down to 40?
Let's do it.
Okay. So
I think we missed that floor.
I think we got to cut Gosling's salary down from 20 to maybe 15.
It's only fair if cut hers that we cut his.
Yeah. So Cillian Murphy's face is at 6. I think that stays.
Yeah. I do think the suit is big. It still needs to stand $1 million.
So Robert Downey Jr. is currently at 7. Do we take him down?
5.
We've got Matt Damon, Emily Blunt. They were getting $1 million to go do internet promotion. I think honestly they got money in the bank from other projects. I think
take them. Sorry guys.
So they're not getting paid for this.
They're getting points.
Florence Pugh at 2. Bring her down to 1.
Yes.
Michael Cera is at 3. Bring him down to 1.
I'd give him more than Pugh. I'm telling you. Give him 2. Give Sarah 2.
We got to make some cuts here. We got to bring down the salary. We got to bring down this budget. We're always railing about Hollywood budgets, and here we are in charge of budgets. So Michael Cera's at 1. We had America at 4. I think we bring her down to 2. She's got a double Sarah.
Yeah.
Barbie IP's at 50.
What do we need to get rid of?
I mean, we need to get rid of a lot. We may listen as much as we may have to end up going to Gerwig's 100.
Yeah, we got to take because the IP. Okay, here we go.
Barbie IP, let's bring it down to 35.
No.
40.
I think we keep it at 40, and we got to take some from Greta.
All right.
We gotta take. Let's
the
take
bomb IP. The bomb IP we had at 5. Do we bring the bomb IP down?
Yeah, of course, dude.
Bomb IP goes down to 1.
Give it 2. Yeah, give it. Yeah, 1 is great.
Warner Brothers Marketing Creatives. It was at 5. Do we bring that down to 1?
No, because they did create. I do agree with you. I say let's keep them at 5 because they did create the
meme
initial.
communities at 20. Do we bring it down to 15?
No. I think the meme community was huge.
All right. Well, I'll do a quick count right now.
We got to cut
Greta's at 100. Do we bring her to 75 so she's still triple what Nolan is?
Yes.
All right. So now I'm going to do another quick count. Gerwig at 75, Nolan at 25, Baumbach at 0. So there's 100 right there for the filmmakers. Then for the actors, we've got Margot Robbie at 40, Gosling at 15, Cillian Murphy's face is 6. Oppenheimer closer 2. Downey is at 5. Adding that up, that's 55, 61, 63, 68. Florence Pugh's at 1. That's 69. Michael Cera's at 1. That's 70. America's at 2. That's 72 for all of your actors. So that brings us to 172 million up to this point. Barbie IP is 40. Bomb IP is 1, so that's 41. Meme community is 20, so that's 61. The marketing creatives are at 5, so that is 66 for that category. So now we're going to go 100 for the filmmakers plus 72 for the actors. So that's 172. And we got to add this other 66. So that is, we are at 238. 238 claim. We got to knock 3 million off of this budget here. You don't want to touch the meme community's 20.
Take the 3 from the meme community, give them 17.
So the meme community gets 17, and we are now, unless my math is wrong, at 235. Yeah, so we are at 135. Yeah, we're at 235 exactly. Now I will read off in full who gets what. So
Here
this
we go.
adds
This is
up to
great radio.
this is the 235 million from Barbenheimer. Greta Gerwig gets 75 million. Christopher Nolan gets 25 million. Noah Baumbach gets $0. Margot Robbie gets 40 million. Ryan Gosling gets 15 million. Cillian Murphy's face gets 6 million. The Oppenheimer clothes get 2 million. Robert Downey Jr. gets 5 million apiece for Florence Pugh and Michael Cera, 2 million for America Ferrera. The Barbie IP gets 40 million. The Bomb IP only gets 1 million in the end. The meme community gets 17 million. Warner Brothers Marketing Creatives, not middle management, gets 5 million. Tom Cruise gets one IMAX screen in a non-major market that will play Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 until that movie hits PVOD.
Yes. Now, I thought
Wow.
the Oppenheimer suit only got 1 million, but I might be wrong.
The Oppenheimer suit got 2 million. That's where we
Okay.
left off, and we're at 235. So
Great. The suit is big.
we nailed it. We broke down Oppenheimer weekend in the a Barbenheimer weekend the way you should, which is divvying up the box office. It's all about the money this weekend.
And you know what I'll say? Email us
Yes.
and divvy up your own millions. We'd love to see what our fans think
Yes.
about this and who they think should get the most money for Barbenheimer. I'd love to
Yep.
see that.
Yep. Yeah. Let us know at the BO Boys Podcast at gmail.com. We love getting your emails. I think, is there any email that you feel like we have to read on this episode? We got a lot of great emails this weekend. We're obviously running a little long on this Barbenheimer weekend. Is there anything that stuck out to you? I know we got a boots on the ground reporting that you mentioned before we went on
Yeah,
the air, Clayton.
real quick, we can't go too much into it, but when a BO boy, Andrew, was
Mm-hmm.
at the AMC Burbank 16, where the fire alarm went off and they were evacuated and the 3 o'clock showings
Wow.
were canceled. And you
Wow.
know what? Andrew had really great, he had a great feeling about it, even though he was bummed he couldn't see Oppenheimer. He said everybody was having fun. They were dressed up, and it was a harrowing event. But he will eventually see it. He's going to see it next Sunday. Thoughts and prayers are with you, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Glad you got through it, but also thank you for looking on the bright side and understand you were a part of a happening, and things
Yes.
like this happen during a happening.
Mm-hmm.
Woodstock, there was the brown acid. So these things will happen, but you have a great, great way of thinking. We hope to hear better things when you see it next Sunday. Please email us and let us know how that went.
Yes. So email us at the BO Boys Podcast at gmail.com. Just want to shout out everyone listen to our good friend of the show, Danny Escamilaggi has his show, I Screen, You Scream, for the number
Number
four
4.
movies. And he saw Barbie, he saw Oppenheimer. His is a review show, and he's got reviews of both of those movies coming up this week. I think one of them might already be out, but he's covering both those movies. So check out our pal Danny's podcast. And thank you for writing us, Danny, to let us know you saw both of these movies. So we'll read some more emails later in the week on our next episodes. But everyone, of course, thank you for sending emails to boboyspodcast at gmail.com. As we said earlier, 5-star Apple reviews are huge for spreading this show, getting bigger than ever. This again will be July is going to be the biggest month in the history of the BO Boys. It is
Yes.
happening thanks to you and thanks to Barbenheimer, of course.
Yeah.
We are YouTubers, so subscribe, watch, ring that. What, Clayton? What do they ring?
Bell.
Ring that bell. That helps other people find us in the YouTube algorithm, which is, of course, only leads to great things for anyone when you get caught up in a YouTube algorithm. Everyone knows that. So watch the show on YouTube. You can't experience everything about the BO Boys just through the podcast. You also have to be looking at us to
Yeah.
get everything. So if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us across social media, specifically TikTok and Twitter. wannabe intern Christopher is just killing it with the vertical videos. And I saw him this weekend and I shook this man's hand
Mhm.
and said, thank you for your service as our intern and for running our social media. So we're going to have wannabe intern Christopher on the show very soon. He'll probably extol the virtues of the BO Boys social media. But until then, follow us at the BO Boys Pod across whatever platforms we are currently on. And I think that's it, Clayton. I mean, I think we've done God's work this Barbenheimer weekend.
We have, absolutely. There cannot be anything left to be said
No, no.
except for
Oh.
until next time,
Will
we'll
smell
smell
you
you
at
at
the